let me talk to on first kind of like some things that have changed. And so I mentioned this last month, and I know a lot of you guys are knowing baby's fine, mommy's fine, baby's growing, everything's healthy and good. So, and thank you guys, all of you all that poured out and sent me emails and stuff telling us congratulations. It meant so much to me. So, first off, let me start with that. Say thank you. Um, some of these models, and when I say models, I mean AI platforms. Some of them are growing at 400% quarter over quarter. And what do I mean by growing? Like their reasoning and then also their size. And so when you look at like the ability for an AI to think, right? It basically comes on how many tokens or how big is the context window. And so like 1 million, 2 million tokens of context, right? And the easiest way, and I don't want to get in too far in the weeds with you guys because I'm pretty sure is everybody that's in here in insurance. Let's do it this way. If anybody's not in insurance, let me know in the chat, but I'm pretty sure you guys are all in the insurance space. So you don't necessarily need to be AI experts. You don't need to go down the rabbit hole of like learning all this stuff through and through, I don't believe. But I do think you should understand the difference in the platforms and how they can help you. And so there is this business model in AI that very much happened in social media, as well as also happened in the internet like .com boom. And so if we go all the way back to like 98, 99, you guys may remember this little old company called Netscape. Like anybody use the Netscape browser, right? Before you use like Internet Explorer or the other ones, way, way, way before Chrome ever became a thing. And so like there was this idea, and it still is true in the tech space, that your business doesn't have to make money if it is in a winner take all market, right? Peter Thiel talks about this as part of the PayPal mafia. And so, like, if you think about Uber, right? Uber and Lyft, they're in a winner take all market, which means like the person that is the biggest in the market has like an outsized benefit or an outsized windfall. Now, Uber's still trying to figure that out. They just keep pumping money into the thing. It still's never turned a profit as long as it's been around. It's pretty crazy. But if you think of something like Chrome, like with Google, right? A browser where most browse traffic happens. If you think of like Facebook was like the first big social media platform. I guess you could say MySpace was the first one, but like the first one that went mainstream and is still around is Facebook. There are very much these first mover advantages. And so this is happening in AI right now to where you kind of have some players at stake. And some of them are very much the 1.0 internet, 2.0 internet, which is, Google and Meta. So Meta has Llama, Google has Gemini, but then there's these new players, OpenAI, right? And then a certain portion of OpenAI's workforce split off and built a company called Anthropic, which is where Claude came from. And then now you have things like Perplexity, and then Google also has they call it DeepMind as their lab. So like Gemini is their chatbot function, but there is also a an LM notebook, which is a language model notebook that Google offers. And so they all have their benefits. I won't get into the weeds with you guys today about that, but I do want you to know that like when these models update, it's important to look at it because their power and what they can do changes drastically. I'll give you guys a real world example, okay? And now, again, I don't know compliance issues if you're allowed to record calls or if you guys pitch clients in Zoom meetings or what, but the ability to have a transcript from a conversation and then a large language model attached to it is insane. My team and I literally just met with a roofing company this morning, had about an hour long call with them, and pitched them a $5,000 a month solution. They're like, sounds good, write it up, send it to us. I was able to go to ChatGPT, give the transcript, and because it's already trained on all of our business, right? And it knows our website, it knows Alli, it knows the functions and features. I was able to say, hey, take this transcript, read it, and then like give me a proposal. And it just shreds out an 8-page proposal that literally is like spot on everything. I had to make like 2 or 3 little minor tweaks, and boom, right? We're off to the races. Now, the power in this is one, like that type of a business model has never really been viable for us because of the human power that it takes, the brain power to, if you got to think like writing an 8-page proposal from scratch. Holy shit. I guess I know what I'm doing for the rest of the day, right? But it's able to like turn that thing out. We had that call at 10. I had the quote to him by like 12:30. And so what I would tell you is there are probably things in your life right now where artificial intelligence could help make you more efficient, where you get then one of two options. One, you get to pull back, meaning like, hey, DJ, I'm at my, $10 million book of business. We do 1 million in revenue. Like, I'm happy. I just would like a little more time with my family. Fantastic. AI is the gateway that can help you get an extra 5 hours a month, 10 hours a month with your family of free time because it's going to buy you some time back. And also, if you're thinking of like coaching your team members, if you guys have the ability, and let me know in the chat, I'm curious, do you guys have a way to get transcripts from your calls? Or is that like a no-no from a compliance standpoint? This is the only bummer of us like being on the outside is like corporate doesn't talk to us. So like I always have to like communicate through my agents. But let me know in the chat, are you able to get transcripts? Because I'm curious about that. No transcripts available, Sarah says. Okay. Nope. All right. Well, sorry for teasing you guys with a really cool tool that you can't play with. But let me do it this way. I will tell you that there are still opportunities that you could probably use in your private business. Like, and when I say private business, I mean like some of you guys are probably members of like the Rotary Club or the Chamber of Commerce or things like that. And like you could still use them in that space. And up until this point, it's been very much like input output, like you give it something to do and then it comes back. But I'll tell you, I kind of alluded to this last month, but this thing called agentic AI, to where it's like agents. This is the next inflection point. Um, and I think if you look at the models, right? OpenAI, Anthropic's Claude, Google's got Gemini, Meta's got Llama. Like the big players kind of have their thing. But you know who's been really, really quiet is Bezos. And I think that what they've been doing, and if I had to put my Bezos hat on, I think him and Andy Jassy are smart enough to say like, hey, we missed the chatbot revolution, but let's build for the next thing that's coming, and that's where agents come in. And I really believe that Amazon is probably trying to frame the race to agentic AI inside of their business. And so, what do I mean by this? Agentic AI. I have one right now that I've built that every morning it goes out and it scours the internet looking for RFPs, requests for proposals, for answering systems, right? So I'm trying to find small towns or municipalities that are like trying to like offload answering the phones, right? They're looking for like an answering service because we could bring Alli in and we basically could say, hey, Alli could answer the phones for you. You don't have to offshore it, and it's a great solution. And so like I have this agent that literally every morning it just goes out, searches the website, and about every 3 days, it's like, hey, found another RFP. Here you go. Right. And so it's allowing me to buy my time back, but then it's programmable so that it is it's a process at that point, right? It's not a product. Like right now, these a lot of these models are products. You have to like give it input, it gives you an output. Even inside of Alli, right? If you guys have if not used inside of Alli, you can chat with her, you can talk to her, she can help you make content, she can do a lot of cool things. You also can use her for analysis. So you can say, hey, Alli, last month our premium was X. Our take on that was 13.2%, and we had 52 new customers, and I spent $4,300 across all of my advertising. Can you tell me what my lifetime value of my customer is, as well as my customer acquisition cost and the ROI on my marketing spend? And she'll take those data points and then like spit it right back out to you, right? It's like it's why we built it. We're really having a hard time getting the clients to adopt it and like use the full benefits that she's in there. But it's literally right inside of the app. It's not like the Alli piece where you can talk to her. It's up in the corner. It says like chat. It's super powerful and can help you guys a ton. But these agents are going to come along, and I think they're really going to change the game because a lot of your all's like beginning of day task And again, this is where the challenge comes on, like, will corporate let you do it, right? That's going to be the problem. But like beginning a day task, hey, send an email to all of the clients whose cards declined yesterday. Okay. And so like you're beginning a day task, hey, there's 4 people. Well, instead of just sending like an automation, right? Automation would just be to like send the same email, like, hey, your credit card, then blah, blah, blah. Using agentic AI, it can say like, hey, take all those people whose card declined, look at their customer profile, then use generative AI to draft the email and send it. And so it might say, like, hey, Sarah, I just wanted to say thanks so much for being a client for the past 4.5 years. We love making sure that your home, your truck, your 1997 Ford Bronco and your 2003 Lamborghini is insured properly. However, your payment didn't go through, and we were trying to build on a card that ends in 5533. Is there a better card for us to use? Right? Like it literally will be able to craft the message. And like we're so close to this. Like, and when I say like close, I mean like maybe by the end of the year, like 6 months away. The way that this technology is moving is just absolutely insane. I love that all these calls are recorded because like I want to go back, a year and a half and like look and see like when I was like, hey, this is like right around the corner. Like, was it really around the corner? Did it take longer? I just think you guys need to be like understanding of not necessarily the pieces of the puzzle, but the overall puzzle, right? And so in the beginning, you had like straight manual work. Then came some automations where like maybe you guys have this set up in your CRM where if you do this, then this happens, right? Maybe you already have an email that automatically triggers when credit cards get declined. Then comes the large language models that are built on prediction. So basically, like, when you guys go to Google and you're like, where to wash my, and it's like car, dog, cat, right? Like it doesn't say watermelon because no one's ever said where to wash my, well, I don't know. The internet's weird. Maybe somebody said where to wash my watermelon, but what happens is like it's predicting based on all the data points it has, what is the next likely word that would come out. And so that's how these things are built right now. When the agents come, agentic AI, they'll be able to program and they can do multiple steps, right? They can reason and think back and forth with itself. And then the next piece from there becomes AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, which is like now like these things are just super smart. They're basically at AGI, it's smarter than any of our mathematicians that we have. It's smarter than any scientist that we have. Like it's smarter than any one human is how I frame that. And then ASI, which is artificial super intelligence, is when the models get smart enough that they're basically smarter than all of us put together. Now, don't let that freak you out because I think we're way far away from that. I also know from talking to several people in the space in Silicon Valley on my trip out there earlier this year that a lot of these people don't even have a clue, man. Like they know how it's programmed, they kind of know how it works, how they train the models, but like some of this stuff is a little bit of a black box that they don't really understand how the code is working. It's a little bit scary, but I think that will continue to cause problems. And I also think that human beings have always used tools in the past, and so like for us I just tell my team, like, as long as we're adapting, as long as we're always looking to like put ourselves out of business, like look around the corner, how can we improve? I think that we'll be okay. When we get to the point where it's like humans versus machines, like, yeah, then I think we're in trouble. But at that point, none of this that we're talking about today will matter. It's like, guns and gasoline and like, do you know how to grow vegetables and fruit at that point? Um, so to circle all this back, I want to put this kind of like in a framework for you guys on like a playbook. So the first thing that I think is like the easiest lift, and I'm not just saying this because it's ours, but like Alli's AI voice to capture your guys' like rollover, meaning if all your team members are busy, the like phone system normally goes to voicemail. Changing that to let Alli answer the call is huge. And then also after hours. And so like if someone has a claim or if they need a quote and they call in after hours, being able to capture that lead with AI is super powerful. I'll give you guys a real world example. I literally just posted this on my Facebook because I was looking inside of like the spot where we manage all the phone calls and whatnot. And Mike Woost is a State Farm agent. Can't remember Emery. I don't know if you know where he's from. I think Emery was in here. I think she bounced out. She had a call. Um, I'm not sure where he's from, but we got Allie set up so that basically she could answer rollover calls. And so let me share this with you guys. Share desktop. Cool. So this is an actual transcription that we pulled. We don't record calls from insurance just for compliance purposes, and we automatically redact any PPI to stay compliant. So, my thing is like people think that humans don't want to talk to AI. They don't want to talk to bad AI. So this is an actual transcript. So Allie answers, says, "Hey, thanks for calling Mike Woos, State Farm Insurance Financial Services. Allie, how can I help you?" She says, Allie, it's Brian. Hi, Brian. How can I assist you today? Hey, I raised my BMW coverage from liability coverage. Then I had to go back to my hometown to bury my brother. While I was gone, the bank called asking if I authorized a transaction. I said yes. Had around 4,500 in my account. Someone took everything out of my crypto account. So Allie is like empathetic. She's trained to be this way. She says, "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry to hear that." He said, when I got back, they said I'm probably not going to get the money back yet. I had insurance and everything, but they need to interview and investigate. They said they can put the money back in my account for about a month. So this dude is like, I'm out of money. And, like, I know I'm getting ready to like have to pay for my insurance, right? And so she was like, "I'm sorry, that sounds incredibly frustrating." He said, "Yeah, I'm had to sell a lot of my guns just to pay my mortgage. I'm really stressed trying to make sure everything's paid. I don't know what to do. I was thinking about letting my insurance lap." And so this is like super powerful, right? So like this call came through like 10:30 a.m. So like Mike's office was open. Everyone was on the call, so nobody could grab this phone call. Okay. This is an insuree, right? You've got this person, this is a current client having this like life-changing like collapse right now. Just buried his brother, got hacked, lost all his money. Holy shit, what are we gonna do? And Allie's like, "Hey, I hear you. Letting your insurance lapse could create bigger issues, though, like gaps in coverage or fines if you're pulled over. Let's find a solution that keeps you protected but eases the cost." Says, "Okay, I want to change the BMW back to liability. That's the way it was." I was like, "Got it. We'll change your coverage from full coverage to liability. Keep your policy active." Brian's like, "I don't know what you can do on your end. I just don't want it to lapse." She's like, "Understood. We'll make sure it stays active while we process the change. May I confirm your contact information?" He's like, "Sure, here's my phone number." She's like, "Thank you. We'll process your request to change the coverage to liability. Is there anything else to help you with?" He's like, "No." This right here is like what stood out to me massively. Because this guy at no point during this call is he's like, "Are you an AI?" Right? He says, "I appreciate it. Sorry to dump all of that on you. I'm frustrated." Allie's like, "Hey, no need to apologize. I'm here to listen and help however I can. If you need anything else, please don't feel, please reach out to us. Take care." So like, "Thank you." She's like, "You're welcome. Have a good one." This guy's like, to me, like I knew that the voice was going to change the game for insurance just because of, don't take this the wrong way, you guys are terrible at answering your phones. We built the AI voice because we were running Facebook ads, shooting a ton of traffic to websites. We could see the click to calls were happening, and then agents were like, "I'm not getting any leads." And so we started calling our clients and like, checking, and people just weren't answering the phone. I mean, like it was like less than 25% of the people answered the phone within the first three rings, right? Because like most people won't even let it go to voicemail. And I get it, like maybe corporate could pick it up or whatever, but I'm like, it's your business, right? Like you should want to handle your clients. Now, I know that there are successful agents that are like, "I don't do service. I'll let it go to corporate. You can call 1-800 Allstate, call 1-800 Farmers, 1-800 State Farm." That's your prerogative. In my opinion, if my customer's calling in with a life-changing situation like this guy, um, you want to make sure you capture that call, because let me tell you, if he goes to voicemail, it's just going to be frustrated, right? And then like you're trying to call him back and it's like now it's amplified. So I think that one of the first things that you guys can do is really to capture more leads and to provide a better service to your clients, is definitely using voice to answer your calls. The other cool thing about this is that she has memory tied in on like the higher level packages where like if a customer calls back and like, oh, Sarah, thanks for calling again, right? Like recognizes the phone number. It's pretty cool. Um, the other piece too, I think, is for those of you guys, and let me know in the chat what you think about that. I thought that was pretty mind-boggling. That's why I posted it, but it was cool to see that. You always get like, hey, I'm interested in a quote. They collect the information and it's up. But like that guy was like data dumping his whole life story on Alli, and Alli's like, hey, I'm here for it. So I thought that was pretty cool. The second piece, I know some of you all are still trying to like figure out how to make content. What should you make content about? How do you put yourself out there with your personal brand? And I think AI is a great way to ideate around that. Now, if you have us doing the content for you, you don't have to worry about it. But if you're struggling to make consistent content, come up with ideas, I think that is a piece that is very, very powerful. The strategy, the ideation, because for me, like there's three heavy lifts that AI can do for you. One, it's like data analysts. If you have lots of information, if you guys, you don't have transcripts, but you probably have a scorecard, you probably have metrics that your team members track. They should all have individual scorecards of they're tracking their metrics on their success. You can use that and put it into a platform like Claude or Gemini or ChatGPT for you to be able to have some assistance in the data analyst part of that. So I'll give you guys an example of what we do. We have a process called heading adjustments. And so every month, I meet with the team members and we basically go through what's their growth path, like what are your goals, where are you headed, what do you want to make sure doesn't happen again. Pick your core value that best aligns, et cetera, et cetera. I've talked about this process before. And so what I do though is like halfway through the year, Amanda on my team, she will take those sheets and give it to ChatGPT and say, hey, DJ needs like a one-page summary on this team member along with talking points for their mid-year review. And so instead of me spending an hour per team member reviewing everything and then having the 1 hour call, all I've got to do is basically do a quick little summary review and then have the 1 hour time call with them, which, oh, by the way, I record and then use ChatGPT to help me transcribe that and then put that into their notes. So I think you guys, like some of the things in your business that you're doing operationally, look to AI to help you with that. I said this at the training I did the other day for the Southern Indiana Chamber, which is AI is not here to replace people. It's here to replace jobs. And what I mean by that is that it's not here to replace Monica in your office. But if Monica answers the phone and 30% of those phone calls are spam or like people from India trying to sell you web application development, right? It's like a waste of Monica's time. And then also she's missing opportunities because she can only answer one call at a time, where Alli can answer up to 1,000 calls simultaneously. There is things that you can do and make adjustments inside of your business that will allow you to buy back not only your time, but also your team members' time. And there's a great book. Dan Martell wrote a book called Buy Back Your Time. Highly recommended if you guys haven't read that. And in there, I recommended it to one of my team members, and the team member came to me and he's like, I don't know this. I don't know if this is for me, DJ. Like, it really is just talking about buying back your time as a business owner. And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, man. That makes sense. And I got to thinking about it. I was chewing on that all day long. I was like, is it? Is it not? Is it? Is it not? I'm like, you know what? Like, why can't my team members buy back their time? Like, if I'm paying an employee $35 an hour, $40 an hour, $65 an hour, like, if they can take a task that they do and either automate it with AI or create a streamlined playbook and process that we can then go hire a VA offshore for $10 an hour, $15 an hour. Like the net for the business is that delta, right? So 65 an hour minus 15 an hour is public math, is $50, right? So like net, like you're gaining $50 an hour in efficiency there. And so I think there's a lot of opportunities for you guys to use this, but then also use it with your team. And I think that you guys should have a huddle. I really do. I think you should huddle with your team once a month and do a show and tell. Like, how did you guys use AI? Like, what are you doing? The really, really big companies hire like McKinsey and Bain and like Ernst and Young to like they spend tens of thousands of dollars to basically have these advisors come in and like try to put the business out of business. You guys can do that now. Like open up ChatGPT and say, like, hey, we're an Allstate agent in the middle of Vermont, and we want you to chat with us about blind spots that we may have that we're not seeing, of like how could we put ourselves out of business, right? Because to me that's where innovation comes from. That's how you stay on the cutting edge. And I don't think that you guys would be working with us and in this class today if you weren't trying to improve and get better. So let me know in the chat, is some of that resonating with you guys? Am I talking over the top of your head? I want to make sure that this is sticking and landing with you guys, but let me know in the chat if you guys got any follow-up questions to any of that. I said I wasn't going to throw a lot at you in the beginning. I get excited and threw a lot at you in the beginning, but let me know in the chat if that makes sense. Or you guys, this isn't a webinar. You guys can unmute yourself. So feel free. Let's have dialogue, talk, chat it up. No pun intended. I'll keep an eye on the chat here. I don't see anybody saying anything, so I hope I didn't like completely lose you guys. Good info. Where do we find out more about Alli for phone, like you mentioned, specifically for State Farm? Yeah, so Sue, the guy that I just shared was with, I don't think one of my team members is in here. They're all on calls. Let me do this. I'll put a link in here. Media/voice. It's super cheap too. Like it's crazy. Like the accessibility of this information, of the technology, is pretty powerful. So cool. All right. Let me look through my notes here. Obviously, you guys know you can do copywriting with it and whatnot, which is powerful. I want to talk to something. I'll pivot away from the AI thing for a minute because we do exactly what I told you guys to do, which is like try to put yourself out of business, right? And so one of the things that oftentimes we struggle with is your guys's lifetime value of a customer is somewhat low. And so it could be difficult to create a ROI positive situation. So what do I mean by that? I mean that if you're spending $1,000 a month with us, $1,500 a month with us, $2,000 a month with us, but a homeowner's policy is $5,000-6,000 and you make 10% of that, right? Like that customer's $600. I've got to get you multiple customers per month for you guys to say, like, I see an ROI. Now, we get so many messages that are like, hey, how do I track the ROI on this stuff? First and foremost, it's very top of funnel. It's very much brand awareness. And so it's a long-term play. We are testing some like true, just like lead gen. We hear you guys. We've been working with you a long time. We understand like some agents are like, cool, man. I don't give a shit about my brand. I just need leads. I just need people to talk to and sell. And so we have a couple things in beta test right now that if it works out, we'll be able to run lead generation campaigns on Meta for you guys. We've tried to do it from like a personal branding standpoint, and the cost just isn't effective, like because you don't get very many impressions. And I personally think it's better to create the brand awareness than try to find the needle in the haystack of the person that's looking for insurance. But we've got some stuff that we're working on in that place. But I want to talk to you guys about a playbook that I think all of you all should be running. And it's the same thing that I see guys like Coach P do. It's things that I see Kevin Spann will do. Joseph Puckett talks about this a lot. Craig talks about this a lot. Michael Weaver, my buddy Michael Weaver, talks about this a lot. And it's about stacking, which means that we don't just quote one thing, right? So, and I think this takes some training on your all's part to your team members, that it's non-negotiable. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you need a framework in which you guys quote every single customer, regardless of what they ask for. So if I come in and I've got a 2015 Toyota Camry and I just want to get a quote on insurance, I'm going to say, okay, no problem. Let me get a little more information from you. Like, do you own your home? Do you rent your home? What do you think your total assets are that you have? Jewelry, everything that you got, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What I'm going to run is a scenario with renters or homeowners with auto, not at state minimum coverage, a personal umbrella that includes personal items and probably some type of a very small term life insurance policy. Now, I know whole life is where it's at. I got whole life. Y'all don't have to sell me. I understand. I got a 20 pay on Willow. But I think what happens is if your agents, your team members are trained to like, okay, 2015 Camry, hold on, it has 167 a month. You interested? Like, right? So this takes some training, it takes some coaching. But what happens with this is it allows you guys to spend more money on marketing to grow your business faster because your customer then becomes worth more. And the way that you present this is I would say, hey, Sue, thanks so much for coming in. Listen, I've got this like standalone quote on the Camry, and I'm happy to show that to you, but I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't show you this, right? And you lay it down. When you see this, you lay it down on the table, right? It should be like multiple pieces of paper. It's like what I've got here is comprehensive coverage across all of the things in your life so that you're 100% protected. It's this, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this. And by the way, if you do it on a monthly payment plan, it's only X number of dollars a month. Now, I can show you this other one that's just like minimum liability, which is what you walked in here and asked for, but we're not in the business of letting people walk out of here underinsured. We're in the business of making sure that no matter what happens to you or your family when you walk out of here, everything's taken care of. So I got to ask you, is this $643 a month in your budget? Right? Like that, present that. And what happens is, I think salespeople sometimes they don't want to do that because they're like, well, that's not what they asked for. I was going to give them this other quote. But like you have a fiduciary responsibility to keep these people protected, right? And so like if you lead with this state minimum coverage, right, and lead on price, you're actually putting that person at a disadvantage because if they go down the road and a bus with 10 people in it, they don't see them, they run a red light, they hit them, and like all 10 people die. They're not going to be covered. Like they're going to lose their house, they're going to lose everything, right? They're not going to have enough coverage for that. And so I also believe in my heart of hearts that 10%, 15%, maybe 20%, depending on their sales skills and how good they are at overcoming objections, take the full Monty. Like they're like, this is amazing. And what you guys can do is you can say, hey, with this package comes X, right? Like think of something, right? Like, I don't know, maybe you guys have a financial course you can give them. Maybe you roll them in Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University, maybe do some other things, but try to sell them a bundle instead of just the one-off policies because that now increases the LTV. So that customer goes from spending $115 a month to $600 a month times 12 months, and the average customer stays with an insurance agent for about 5 to 7 years, depending on the timeline. And so now if you're saying 600 a month, that's 3,600 a year times 5. It's a $15,000 customer. You can spend $1,000 a month with us now, and if you close one of those, it pays for your whole marketing for the year, right? And so this is something that I don't see agents doing enough. It's not presented like they're running, and it's because a lot of agencies they run very, very loose on their playbooks, meaning like, how do we sell a customer? And Coulter is great at training people on this, on like stacking life insurance and how you sell life insurance, and everybody's got their life insurance story that they share. And so I just think that I wanted to make sure I brought that point up today in the class for, the dozen of you guys that are on here with me. Huddle your team together tomorrow. Talk about a framework and draw it out. Give them a play, give them a framework that they can follow, so that they're automatically doing this and quoting this with every single customer, right? Now, I didn't say like hold them hostage, don't show them the other quote, right? If they're like, no way, dude, there's no way I can afford that, then it's like, okay, cool. Because if you really want to get savage mode with this, it's like, hey, we don't write mono. Sorry. Like, we only take customers that bring everything to us. Like stick that flag in the ground, because now guess what? You get to like serve and build your business around the lifetime value of your customer being that much, right? It's pretty crazy. There's a guy in Texas, I don't know, it's in the insurance business. He sends a limo. He does a policy review once a year with all of his clients. He sends a limo to pick them up and bring them back to their office. And it's crazy, right? It's like, but you can do that when you run your business and you index it that way. Too often times I see salespeople let the prospect dictate the process versus forcing the prospect to follow the process. Okay. Don't let the prospect dictate the process. Make the prospect follow the process. And you guys I'm telling you, you'll be wildly amazed at, these deals that close. And then your salespeople are going to love it because they're making more money. You're going to be able to hit the scorecard easier. And then what's going to come out of the backside of that are salespeople that are like jazzed up because they're like, holy crap, like I didn't think they were going to buy all that. And it's like, well, there's problem number one, right? Self-limiting beliefs, which is the number one problem most salespeople have. They sell with their own wallet, right? It's like I couldn't afford 600 a month, so I can't believe they would have bought that. And so I think there's definitely something in there for you guys to take away, take back to your team, work on that. Again, I've never sold a single policy in my life, but I've worked with insurance agents, literally thousands of you guys at this point, for the last 10 years. And so I picked up a thing or two, and then also working with some of these top dogs. Like I'm in their books, I see them, I talk to them, and I'm like, okay. So like, you know, one of the guys, I won't say his name, but like literally they do not quote auto without attaching a term policy to it. Like literally every single time there is a term policy attached to it because especially if it's a younger person, like, it's $11 a month or $7 a month. And then you say the story of like, listen, man, for $7 a month, I'm going to make sure that if you get hit in this car and something happens to you, your wife's not having to figure out how to pay off your truck that's crumbled in a million pieces, right? Like, or pay off the house that they're living in. Maybe a $50,000 term policy doesn't pay off the house nowadays, but you guys are following me on this, hopefully. So I want to recap here for a second before we go into questions. Gabriel says that was great takeaway. Don't let the prospect dictate the process. Make the prospect follow the process. Yes, yes, and yes. Cool. So let's recap. That was a lot. I just threw at you guys. First and foremost, stop the leakage. Grab your missed calls, triage, positive first touch, on brand. Use AI to answer your phone calls. Make sure that you're using AI to help you with data analysts to buy back some of your time. Encourage your team members. Have a competition about it, right? Like say, hey, I'm giving $25, a $25 Chipotle gift card to, which like nowadays will buy you one Chipotle burrito, but I'm giving you a $25 gift card to whoever has the best AI implementation idea every month. So we're going to huddle once a month. It'll be on the last Friday or the third Friday of the month or the second Tuesday or the third Monday. We're going to huddle for 45 minutes. We're going to round robin. You guys are going to tell us what did you use AI for and how did it impact your job and how did it make you more efficient or help you be more impactful? The best answer, I'm going to kick them a $25 burrito gift card. You guys will be amazed at the buy-in that you'll get. You'll also really be able to start to kind of filter out like who's not bought into it as well, right? Like we are definitely hitting a time that it's going to require your team to be malleable and like they're going to have to change. I truly believe that this AI revolution that has started and kicked off and we're smack dab in the middle of, it's 1998 with the internet all over again, except this thing is 10 times bigger than the internet even dreamed of being. Because like with the internet, I could get on, Google Docs, write a proposal and email it. With AI, it writes the proposal and I email it and I buy back 4 hours of my time. So your ability to output work, which remember, like GDP is like economy multiplied by output. I just think your guys' outputs out of your office could be a lot higher, and leveraging the technology. And then lastly, as agentic AI continues to grow, I'll keep you guys pressed on it. Any new changes that I see that are coming out of it, but definitely continue to play. I think that's the best word I can use. Like continue to play with these platforms, get on them, poke around, spend 5 hours a month, 10 hours a month. I think I told you guys this last month, but I asked ChatGPT how much time I had spent with it. It said by our calculations, 300 to 400 hours. And it was like, we consider you a power user. And so when people are like, how'd you learn all this stuff? I'm like, I just talk to it. And if you guys don't know the chat function, like you literally can like just click the microphone and talk to it. And so like if you have drive time, things like that, talk to it, talk through it. And it can definitely help you with strategy and whatnot. So I got about 5 minutes left before I got to jump off here for my next call. What questions do we still have that are open for you guys? I'll go back through these top ones, make sure we covered everything. What to use when and what for. Seems like many AIs get stuck. Pick one, Gabriella, and stick with it. I would say ChatGPT is probably the easiest, most well-rounded, most used platform. So you're good there. David Reed, I don't know what to tell you about fake news, man. Deep fakes are coming. It's going to continue. We've got a platform that we're working on right now for you guys that we'll be able to make deep fakes of you all to make videos if you want, which is pretty crazy. Sarah said she feels behind the curve, not even sure what to ask of AI to get max benefits, where to even start. Ask it. So, right? Like go ask ChatGPT, say, hey, and again, if you guys want to take notes, I'll give you a giveaway. There's a 4-step framework. You guys have heard me say the 10-80-10 model. Sorry, my eyes starting to bother me. 10-80-10. 10% input from a human, 80% heavy lift from an AI, 10% oversight on the backside. Okay. So 10-80-10 model. Inside of there's a framework. It's what do you want the role to be of the AI? You are a financial advisor that has went to all of the major schools and you're an expert when it comes to numbers, right? Or you're a strategic business analyst and advisor. You used to work at all of the top firms and now you work directly for me, right? Tell it who it is and like what you want the output to be. You're an expert copywriter and you've written the best sales copy in the world, right? It also knows people. So you can say like, hey, take this email and rewrite it in like a Alex Hermosi / Gary V version, right? And it'll touch it up like that. So that's the first part, the role, what you're trying to solve, the output that you want from it, and the non-negotiables. So like your response must include X, Y, and Z. I want it out in bulleted format or long paragraph format or a short yes or no answer. And then like, what is the problem that you're trying to solve for? So like Sarah, you're like, hey, I feel behind. I'm an insurance agent. Here's my website. Here's my link to my Facebook page. Like, tell me what you could do to help me and be of service. Okay. Super powerful. Cool. What's the best for voice interaction to brainstorm? So this is the one thing I actually prefer Claude as far as a platform, but with ChatGPT, so in this bottom left corner, this little white button right here, I have mine on like dark mode because I play with it at night a lot. You basically could just tap on that. And then this comes up. Hey, what's up, chat? It's Coach Carroll. You're on my monthly masterclass that we do every month. I've got some great insurance agents in here. Give me a one-line response for 3 answers. I'm looking for 3 lines basically for you to read out to my audience. You're an expert business advisor around AI, and I want you to give them the 3 biggest things they can use you for to help maximize the efficiency and profits inside of their business.
Absolutely, Coach Carroll. All right, let me give them 3 quick lines they can run with. First, hey everyone, when it comes to AI, think of me as your efficiency multiplier. I'll show you how to automate the grind and free up your time. Second, I'm here to help you turn data into decisions on the fly so you can boost profits without guesswork. And third, finally, I'll help you stay ahead of the curve by using AI to streamline your client interactions and keep your service top notch. There you go. 3 lines, nice and punchy.
So you guys can play around with this, right? Go take what I just gave you guys today and say, hey, chat, coach was just telling me I need a framework to teach my salespeople so that we quote everything possible for clients and how to deliver that information to my team. And literally it'll go, here you go, right? I mean, it's so powerful, guys. It's like, when people are like, what should I do? I'm like, fucking anything. Like, there are no limits to this thing. It's so freaking powerful. So, Reese said, what softwares do you primarily use for scalability? I've been using ChatGPT for years. And it seems slightly bland compared to other softwares. So, Reese, I would ask you, are you on the top tier? Like, if you've been using it for years, kudos, you're an early user. Take it up a notch, meaning go to pay the $20 a month plan. If you're in the 20, go pay the 200 because the reasoning, the outputs, everything becomes so much better because you're paying for it. And so, some of my team members are in top tier because I'm like, it's an advantage, right? Like, for instance, Claude said that less than 5% of their users pay the $200 a month. So if I take my team member and I give them the $200 a month plan, that means they're 95% ahead of the rest of the users on Claude already because they're using full width of the features. And so now that net gain is stretched very much so because of the output of the work that they can do. So I like ChatGPT. Here's the one thing that I have figured out as these platforms continue. I've used ChatGPT the most. I've got so much information, it's kind of stuck in here now. And so when I go have a conversation with like Grok, for instance, Grok is like, I need a little more context. I'm like, gosh, shit, I gotta train you now on like all the stuff, right? Because like just so you guys know that I'm not pulling your leg, I'll show you. So like over here on the left side, this is like coach's coach, but like I'll show you, these are all chats that I have done with Chat GPT. And I think I told you guys this last time, but I used Chat GPT to edit my book. So like this goes all the way back. Let's see what the date is on this. It's probably not going to have a date. I was like asking it for SEO optimization. This was probably like way, 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 way back, like 2023, beginning of 2023. But my new book's coming out, The Hunter Head Game. By the way, if you guys haven't reserved your advanced copy, go pre-register thehunterheadgame.com. And I'm giving everybody the audiobook version for free that pre-registers for this. It drops this fall. But I edited every other chapter with ChatGPT and the other chapters with Claude. And it allowed me to write just really, really powerful stuff inside of this book. I got some of the podcasts that are coming out next month. I talk about it a little more, but this thing's 250 pages. It's got some really cool, I'll show you guys one of the pictures. We did some really cool pin art, which was all generated by AI. So we've got cool pin art, really cool, like poetic entries to each chapter, and also the power of AI. We used it to basically generate the back copy image. So this wolf, as well as the eyes on the front of this. So pretty cool. This book I've been working on for about 10 years. This is about 500-page manuscript. And we whittled it down to distilled 250-page version. And it's got some really, really cool stuff in there and can kind of like get your sales team rocking and rolling. So cool. Dave says fake news. Agreed with Gabriel. Let me make sure there's no other questions in here. Great info. Love it. Thank you. Cool, guys. Yeah, voice interaction. So any other final questions before we wrap? I want to make sure I get you guys out of here for the top hour. I know you guys all have meetings and stuff. Definitely check out Alli's Voice. It's $97 a month if you just want rollover and after hours. $197 if you wanted to answer full time. We have implemented this for farmers, State Farm, and Allstate. State Farm takes probably the longest. You have to like submit a support ticket and say, hey, from the hours of this to this, we want the phone forwarded to this phone number. And we basically build her on her own phone number so we can track everything. But it's really easy to tie in an ROI because she catches a couple extra leads a month for you guys after hours that would have hung up and called the next person on Google. It pays for itself. So again, just our commitment to you guys of trying to always innovate and execute with excellence so that we can help you guys grow your business. And as we see problems that need to be solved, we try to build solutions for them. So all right, guys, with that being said, as always, if you need us, hit us up in the mobile app or send us an email, support@carroll.media. If there's anything I can do for you guys directly. I'll tell you guys, the fall schedule is crazy. I'm speaking at Proverbs 31 group, which is a State Farm group. We'll be at Tim Linden's event in Nashville. We've got, I want to say there's an all-state event I'm speaking at as well. If you guys have a local chamber of commerce, if you guys have a business conference that you plan on attending, I would love a referral. Would love to come speak at those conferences. For those of you that have seen me speak, I'm pretty boring, but I love to deliver my passion and share with great audiences. So would always recommend, would always love a referral for any events that you guys have coming up. And it also is cool because I get a chance to get out and see you guys in person. So that being said, we'll talk to you guys next month. Thank you so much. Have a great day. See you guys.